Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishuttle. Doug, how many starting quarterbacks have fallen in the first 2 weeks of the NFL? It's mind-boggling.
I've got a team with 2 down.
Yeah, you're a New York Jets fan, which, by the way, I will never bet on them this year again. I mean, I just can't believe what's happening to the Jets.
Maybe week 9.
By the way, I have to explain my pick last week. They were 2.5 underdogs at the time when I made the pick, but then after that, that's when the notice of, the mono announcement. I've never heard of a quarterback getting mono.
Sam Mono Darnold.
Mono Darnold. And then a whole slew of injuries affected the Jets when they basically what was the final line before the game? I guess
it was 6.5.
6.5, 7. I've seen places.
I saw 2 places with 7, a couple places with 6.5.
No, but when I made the pick, they were 2.5 underdogs. But
and I think right off the bat, they're 18.5, 19-point underdogs against the Patriots next week.
Yeah,
so
no, that's
I'm not touching that game, by the way.
I am going nowhere near that game.
With Luke Falk starting? No.
I'm assuming they're going to have to get another quarterback, even for a backup to Luke Falk,
well,
whoever this guy is.
They had just signed him that day from the practice squad
to
Monday night for that game. So he's now starting. Simeon's in a boot.
Yep.
So, and Darnold's several weeks away. And you have Roethlisberger out. You have Breeze with his thumb ligaments. Who else went down? Somebody else went down, too.
Luck retired.
Retired.
A month ago, I would have thought a whole new team of quarterbacks would be starting right now, but all the standbys are gone.
And also Foles.
Foles, yeah, broken collarbone.
Yep.
I guess week 11, they're talking about him coming back.
Well, they have Minshew starting now, or whatever his name is now. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good.
Pretty good. So it was a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. And today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
A couple of news and notes in the sports betting world. New Jersey's newest online sportsbook, Unibet's not wasting any time. They just did a deal with the NHL's New Jersey Devils, a multi-year sponsorship where Unibet's going to be doing some fan and hospitality experiences, as well as there's an in-arena presence at the Devils Stadium.
That fan and hospitality experiences, I'm assuming that means contests, and they can win cash and prizes.
People walking around signing them up for the Unibet
stuff. Okay, yeah. Boy, they're everywhere. Even in sports books, there are people walking around trying to sign people up for their app.
Well, I remember when we went down to the book at Bally's. They had William Hill people walking
Sure,
around signing
sure.
people up. So, yeah, they're
Which,
everywhere.
by the way, I'm all signed up for William Hill. That's the 4th sports book on my phone.
I'll be doing that soon, too.
I don't know. I don't know how much more my phone can take.
No, it's ceasing to be a phone, and now it's just
I
a
know.
sports book.
Yeah, I got to take all my the ability to talk on the phone and the email off of it, so I have more room for
the phone
sports
is
books.
now in the way
Yeah.
of the betting. But yeah, Unibet's not wasting any time. It's the brand new sports book for New Jersey, and they went right in with the Devils. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see a couple more deals coming down the road with Unibet. Speaking of New Jersey, Golden Nugget can now take bets on the NBA.
It's about time.
Yeah, Governor Murphy signed a bill into law saying that the Golden Nugget, which had been previously prohibited from taking bets on NBA games because Tillman Fertitta, the owner, is also the owner of the Houston Rockets.
Yep.
New Jersey basically fixed that law. So now,
So you can bet on NBA except the
Rockets.
Houston Rockets.
Just like every other Golden Nugget around the country.
Okay.
That takes sports bets, because that's the way it is in Vegas, too.
Good.
So good for a Golden Nugget. They should actually...
I actually like their sports book. It's really nice in there.
Golden Nugget is leading the league in everything online gaming, so maybe this is going to help them break into the top of the sports betting side, too.
It should.
We'll see.
It's a nice property.
And I just I have this last little story here. Paul Hornung. Everyone remembers the Hall of Fame Packers running back got banned or suspended indefinitely from the NFL for sports betting.
1 year, yeah.
1 year. Well,
The
it
entire
was
1960
originally indefinite ban.
Yeah, but
And
it
then
just
they negotiated it back down.
1963.
So he was chosen to place the ceremonial first bet at the Horseshoe Casino in southern Indiana.
What a long way we've come, huh?
Now, does that mean at some point we're going to see Pete Rose placing a ceremonial bet for either some new Philly sportsbook or a Cincinnati Reds sportsbook?
Be interesting, you know.
Yeah, I just it'll be. It was an interesting choice in terms of who to place the ceremonial first bet in this Indiana casino, and it did raise a few eyebrows about it. I mean, the guy was banned for sports betting when it was illegal, and you bring him in to do the ceremonial first bet for when it's legal. Was it a good choice? I don't know. I mean, it got people's attention. I
Absolutely.
think that was the reason for the ceremonial
Everyone's
first bet.
talking about it. So.
Exactly.
Exit 2.
Speaking of being banned for sports betting, this had to happen sooner or later, and it just happened at probably the wrong time for the NBA 2K League.
So this is esports, right?
This is esports.
Okay.
The NBA 2K League has announced that one of its players, and his nickname is 24K Drop-Off, has been banned from the league for violating the league's gambling rules.
I didn't even know they had gambling rules. I guess he can't
He was giving
gamble
inside
on...
information to
Oh,
bettors.
Okay. I
It's-
guess allegedly you have to say before...
The investigation revealed that allegedly he was giving out information to an individual that the player knew was involved in betting on NBA 2K League games. So
do sports books have
this
MB?
this is outside the United States.
Okay,
This,
all right.
Because
was wondering about that.
other than a few specific little events for esports, most sports books in the United States do not take bets on esports.
That's got to change pretty soon, I would
Yeah.
think. I mean, it's becoming too big.
Well, this is the first guy banned, and the reason why I brought this story out is because this comes right after the launch of the new version of the NBA 2K. It's NBA 2K20, which has gambling themes and games in it. They have a slot machine, Wheel of Fortune style prize wheel, and pachinko games inside the game itself.
So you can play these, slot machines inside the NBA 2K. Wow.
And now you have this illegal betting issue.
Wow.
Or, I guess, violating sports betting issue for this one player. So it's just an interesting time for a ban for violating gambling rules to come about because of the new gambling-themed segments of the new esports game by the NBA 2K. A lot of people didn't feel comfortable with the new version having these gambling issues anyway. But now with the sports betting scandal on top of it, you may see a different version coming out at some point where there's no gambling games in it. I wonder if there's going to be 2 different versions of this game now.
Huh. Okay.
Exit 3.
The NFL constantly proves it's the king of its own social media here by doing this new deal with YouTube. They are going to be creating a docuseries highlighting pivotal game day moments of players and coaches both on and off the field.
Wow.
This is going to
This is going to be like
throughout the season.
This is like HBO's, the training camp one.
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. So this is going to be like a Hard Knocks during the season, right?
If they have a cryo problem,
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to watch this. But they're planning a 22-episode weekly show. It launched on September 11th.
Oh, so it's up there now.
It's already up there. It's
Okay.
streaming for free exclusively on the NFL's YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, check it out.
Yeah. They've got 5 million subscribers already on a YouTube channel they started in 2015. And what they're going to be doing, I like this idea. This is actually nice to see. Each 20-minute episode will focus on a different player or coach. And it's going to follow them over the course of the game day. It's going to be the trip to the stadium, the warm-up drills. They're going to be going through the game itself and post-game activity, and also going home
Wow.
after the game.
Interesting.
It's going, it's
See, I'd watch that. I'd like that.
it's a
That's very
different it's
good.
a different type of content for game day stuff.
So it comes out every Wednesday?
Yeah.
All right. You got to check it out.
It's called NFL Game Day All Access. It's
So when you say the NFL has a YouTube page, you go to YouTube
a channel.
or a YouTube channel. You go to YouTube and you type in NFL.
Yep.
In the search, and it'll take you to their channel.
like we have a Turnpike Sports YouTube page. You
Okay.
type in Turnpike Sports, you're going to go to our page.
Okay.
Same thing with NFL's YouTube page. Besides this new series, NFL Game Day All Access, they're still going to have game previews, in-game highlights, post-game recaps, analysis of the different games, as they're going on, and also some other original series that they're planning.
I got to definitely check that out. I didn't realize they had a YouTube channel.
I didn't realize it was that complex. I figured it was just game highlights.
Yeah, right.
But no, they have original programming. I'm curious to see
It's
exactly
interesting that
which
they-
coaches they're going to choose with
Yeah.
this.
Well, it's who wants to be a part of it. I'm surprised they don't do something like this. I know they have an NFL cable channel that comes with cable, or I guess you pay for it. I don't know if it's part of basic cable. I'm surprised they don't
NFL
put
TV or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
NFL.
NFL Network.
NFL Network. I'm
Yeah.
surprised they don't put something like this on it.
Well, again, this is just another offering.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Again, YouTube has a different audience than the NFL Network.
I guess so. Yeah.
So, I mean, the YouTubers are millennials or whatever the next younger group is. So, and this is probably going to get more people interested in the NFL itself because, especially with fantasy sports players, they're following individual players more than teams anyway.
Yeah,
So
I
you might
guess.
see, if the guy's a popular fantasy sports player, you may see a lot more subscribers tuning in for that guy versus some other guy, or versus some coach or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see what the I'm going to say this, what the fan engagement's going to be
Yeah,
with
right.
this.
It's a code word.
Exit 4.
Last but not least, we've done NFL, we've done sports betting, we've done esports with NBA. Let's talk some Major League Soccer. Got a new sponsorship deal. Body Armor signed a 4-year, multi-million-dollar partnership deal with Major League Soccer, making it the league's official sports drink partner in the U.S.
I didn't even know Body Armor had a sports drink. I know Powerade. I know Gatorade.
Well, Body Armor is a sports drink.
I didn't. Oh, okay.
It's not the clothing.
See, I thought Body Armor. I thought was clothing. When
That's
you
the
said
Under.
that.
That's Under Armour.
That's Under Armour. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no, Body Armor is BODYARMOUR.
Okay.
So it's an energy drink.
It's okay. So is this in?
A whole bunch of different flavors. It's in the supermarket.
It's in the suit. Okay, I gotta
Yeah.
check it out now.
So probably you'll start seeing some bottling changes in terms of.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought was Under Armour.
Yeah, I know. That's confusing a little bit too, because the first time I ever heard of Body Armor, it's I thought of the clothing line too, but it's not. It's a sports drink.
Okay.
They're replacing Advocare.
Okay, I definitely never heard that one.
Advocare is a sports science company. or a nutrition science company.
Okay.
They not only they do drinks, but they also do powders and
okay.
bars and all this other stuff. They were the official energy drink or sports drink partner of the Major League Soccer until this deal was made.
Okay.
They had that since 2015. Body Armor is taking over in 2020, and they're going to go 4 years. You're going to see Body Armor sports drinks, the logo and the brand featured on the sidelines of all the matches. You're going to see it in the locker rooms and training facilities. Basically, wherever you can think of a logo, you're going to see it throughout a Major League Soccer game. And the company's logo is also going to be featured on everything from the coolers to the cups to the towels the teams use. So it's going to be everywhere on a soccer game. And, of course, no sponsorship deal nowadays is not complete without social media and online content being produced. So basically what the NFL did with their game day thing, you may start seeing this for the soccer players.
So MLS has I guess they would have a YouTube channel, right?
I think they do not have an official YouTube channel. I don't know.
I'm going to check out all the major sports leagues to see if they have YouTube channels.
What this deal is talking about doing is through the MLS main website and also the team websites, too. So it's a partnership that's going to start in Las Vegas. So, again, Vegas is prominent in basically everything nowadays.
And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And to get in touch with Turnpike Sports, you can call or text us at 609-512-5910. Facebook and Twitter at Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on both those social media outlets. Info at turnpikesportsradio.com is our email address. Don't forget you can listen to the show, subscribe to it via iTunes, iHeartMedia, Stitcher Radio. We have our own YouTube channel, like I mentioned. It's Turnpike Sports. We're also on your smart TV. Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and you can also get the show now through the radio.com mobile app, too.
And stick around, because after this, I talk to John Brennan from USBets.com and NJOnlineGambling.com about what's going on in the gambling world. And after that, we're going to have our Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. And then after that, oh boy, we pick again, more picks. I promise I'll do better this week. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from Turnpike Sports with this week's Bet Flash. Unibet and the NHL's New Jersey Devils have entered into a sponsorship agreement. Under the multi-year deal, Unibet will have an in-arena presence at the Devils' home rink, as well as providing hospitality and fan experiences for its customers. After a month in operation, Iowa sportsbooks have reported their revenue figures. In its first few weeks, bettors placed $8.5 million worth of bets, which generated close to $2.2 million in revenue for the Iowa books. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy signed a bill into law which will allow the Golden Nugget to take bets on the NBA, excluding the Houston Rockets. Prior to this law, the Golden Nugget was forbidden to take NBA bets due to the fact that its owner, Tillman Fertitta, owned the Houston Rockets. From the seaside to the desert, from the betting lines to the sites online, Turnpike Sports has got you covered. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Turnpike Sports.
Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and Lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Dave Weishuttle with you here. You know, over the last couple of weeks, there's been a flurry of activity in the gambling world, with states starting sports betting and making other news with their casinos. Here at the radio show, we're lucky to talk with writers who keep us up to date with what's going on. And today we have one of the best writers in the gambling world. From USBets.com, NGOnlineGambling.com, and the podcast Gamble On, John Brennan is joining us. John, thanks for coming on.
Good to be back.
You know, John, I wanted to start off with sports betting, and like I said, we saw a lot of activity right before the NFL season. So right now, how many states have legal sports betting?
My podcast partner, Eric Raskin, and I were talking the other day about we're all actually losing track. I believe we're at lucky 13 now.
Yeah, boy, like I said, it seems like every week another state is, I guess, joining the sports betting family. And I know recently the American Gaming Association held a national media conference call to talk about what's going on in the U.S. and the expansion of sports betting. What was said during that conference call, and are they happy with the number of states allowing sports betting, or do they expect it to be a bigger number by now?
It's interesting. Bill Miller, who runs the American Gaming Association, he's been involved in politics for about 25 years. He was chief of staff to a congresswoman in Maryland, and then worked with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce for a long time, getting involved with lobbying and getting laws passed. So, he has a kind of unique perspective on how difficult it is to pass a bill, get somebody signed into law, get everybody to get on the same page. So he's sort of dazzled by the amount of states that have done it so far, because he probably has run into quite a few cases where he thought he had a slam dunk issue and a lot of agreement among the key players, and yet somehow inertia, took over. So he's pretty happy with the 13.
I know they threw out some polling data during the conference call. What did that data reveal with regard to sports betting or gambling in general?
Oh, yeah, quite a few. 75% of fans say they were more likely to watch a game that they have a bet on. I would have guessed about 103%. So I'm off there, but just by a little bit. But that's not surprising. 51% say they are more likely to watch a pregame show and commentary if they're betting, which makes some sense, and that's good for the leagues. 24% of Americans would place an NFL bet if allowed to do so by their state, which is a pretty good number.
Yeah.
This is the people from the most casual to the most diehard. So that's actually a pretty good number. Patriots are the favorite by 23% to win the Super Bowl, and no one else even gets 10%. But I'll tell you the big number for me was, so what's the percentage of bettors who say they're more likely to attend a game if they bet on it?
See, that's very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would much matter. I want to bet on the game, but I don't need to go to it. But 28% said they would be more likely to attend the game if they bet on it. That's tremendous for the NFL. Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, has already said he can foresee like a 50% rise in TV contract revenues due to the impact of sports betting. And now this is a sign that ticket sales also can go up for sports betting. So the numbers overall are great for the NFL. I talked to the Meadowlands racetrack operator, Jeff Corral, last month, and he said that the NFL is so lucky they lost that lawsuit. And I think he's right.
Well, did they talk about, I know it's a very interesting stat about attending an NFL game, but like you brought up Jerry Jones, and he said, that sports betting will increase the value of the broadcast rights. Did the AGA talk about anything about they're seeing more viewership for the NFL, and do you think that will grow, or do you think they think that will grow?
Well, I think it's a little too early. Last year, obviously, far fewer states had legal sports betting. Right now, about 20% of Americans live in a state that has sports betting. It was less than half of that last year. So I think we're not really going to know too much on that until January. But I think the amount of viewers will go up modestly, but I think the amount of time that viewers spend watching the game will go up significantly. That's kind of what has been found. I talked to a NASCAR executive last week, and that's kind of what he talked about is you're going to get that extra 15, 30, 45 minutes of watching time because you can bet on who's going to win the next lap and that sort of thing. And the way he put it is, the bettor's going to put off mowing the lawn for an extra half hour, right? So that's great for them because they're not only measuring number of viewers, but also the amount of time they spend in terms of value of advertising dollars.
I hear these numbers, and I talk to a lot of people like you do in the field, and when we look at the expansion of sports betting, I mean, it's almost a different animal than the expansion of online casinos and the brick and mortar casinos as well. I mean, what comes to mind is that wild card state called Tennessee, who just passed legislation that allows online sports bets, but don't have casinos in their state. I mean, do we have to look at sports betting as a different kind of animal aside from casinos and aside from online casinos?
Yeah, I actually asked Bill Miller from AGA about that because, it was sort of occurring to me that this reminds me of the 1990s casino boom, right? Mm-hmm. Nevada was decades ahead. New Jersey was well ahead. And then Delaware jumped in early. Mississippi jumped in early. There's some states that aren't even talking about it because they don't have casinos. They're not talking about sports betting. So I was kind of thinking of we're just going to have a mirror image. And he threw out Tennessee specifically, to your point, that, here's a state that doesn't have casinos. So his feeling, and again, he's been involved in politics for a long time, he thinks there's a certain amount of less reluctance in sort of middle-of-the-road states to legalize sports betting as opposed to legalizing a casino where you've got a big property and then traffic and it's just sort of a big spectacle. Whereas here you're talking about mobile sports betting in Tennessee and some other states. And so I think there's a perceived split there where you're not going to get as much blowback from constituents about legalizing sports betting as you would legalizing a casino, say in the Deep South.
Over the past month and a half, I've had interviews with gaming commission heads from Pennsylvania, Iowa, and Mississippi, and without fail, each one of them have mentioned what the states next to them are doing. Is this how we're going to see sports betting progress? Almost like this peer pressure, this other state has it, so you know what? We have to get on the ball and do something?
Yeah, that is the part that Miller said is parallel to the casino boom, is that, yes, more and more states are noticing the neighboring state add a gaming component. We've talked about the most famous and most effective promotion ever was Ed Rendell in Pennsylvania, the former governor, saying, I hate gambling, I hate casinos, I wish nobody would bet any money, I'm morally opposed to it. But Pennsylvanians are spending $1 billion a year in Atlantic City, and we get nothing from that. That's just money leaving the state, discretionary income. And so since it's already happening, we can't stop it. Do we want a piece of it and regulate it ourselves, or do we want to just give up? And that was the argument that finally won the day for Pennsylvania around 2006. So I think, right, plenty of other states are going to see that. And, with 13 states, like Miller says, we've got a great map, is the way he described it. So if you look at the United States and you see what states have legalized and which states are have approved it or it's coming, you don't get that much empty space. With casinos, there are spots in the upper West and there are spots in the middle South that there's no surrounding state that has it either casino or sports betting. But all of the Northeast and all the Midwest and much of the further south and some of the farther west, they either have it or the neighboring state does. So, yeah, it's a domino effect. It really makes sports betting more inevitable in certain states that would have been on the fence, but because, Iowa or the next state over, because they have it, they say, okay, let's do it too.
Recently I went to the opening of the Bally Sportsbook in Atlantic City, and they gave out T-shirts and memorabilia that said, break up with your bookie. And that got me wondering, and I'm wondering how much of an impact has legal U.S. betting had on the illegal offshore sites or the unlicensed sites. Did the AGA address that in any way?
Yeah, Miller insists that not only is legalized, regulated sports betting already cutting a hole into the bookies' numbers, but he thinks they can really seriously damage them with the proper efforts. I'm more skeptical on that. As we know, a bookie will take a bet on credit, which doesn't happen in legal regulated markets. And honestly, more importantly, somebody hits that 10-team parlay maybe once every 10 years, but they hit it, they make $10,000 from the bookie. They get the cash. They're not going to report that to the IRS. Whereas, of course, there's a trigger in a legal regulated market. So, there are certain characters out there who are not only used to going with the bookie, but have certain advantages. They might even get better prices from the bookie. So, I'd like to be Pollyanna and say, oh, yeah, the bookies are wiped out and everybody's going to bet legally. But I think the hardcore gambler that's been doing this for decades doesn't really care about, the new legal sports book in town. They already have a system they like, and there have been advantages for them. But the casual fan is what you're going to get. There's a lot of people, and some professional gamblers don't seem to understand this. There's a lot of successful people who have, they have wife and kids or a husband and kids, and they're really happy with their lives. And yeah, they're probably not going to get caught if they go to the bookie. What if they did? The name gets in the paper, or they get fired, or they think of all kinds of downsides. So they'll never make an illegal bet. And when it's legal, they'll do it. But there's a huge hardcore underground group that's been around forever, and I just don't think legal sportsbooks can win them over.
Since we're talking about sports betting, one of the cases that fascinates me for a couple of months now, and I think I've talked to you about it before, and I mentioned to you off air, is the ongoing case of a possible sportsbook in Cherry Hill. For people listening around the country, Cherry Hill is a town in New Jersey, basically right across the river from Philadelphia. First off, can you give us the backstory of what this court case is all about?
Well, yeah, the whole thing is kind of bizarre. Going back a number of years ago, New Jersey's first sports betting law, it was pretty simple. It seemed like, because it wasn't even an online issue 7 or 8 years ago. It was, we're going to allow it at state casinos, which are only in Atlantic City, and state racetracks, and there are only 3 left. So that's it, right? Oh, and then any site that formerly had horse racing in the last 20 years. And that happens to include Atlantic City Racecourse, but which should really be Atlantic County Racecourse. It's not in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
But that wasn't intended. What was intended is for Cherry Hill. That used to be where the Garden State Park racetrack was. So Senator Lesniak, the former senator who sponsored the bill, he says it was all about a market research that showed him that that affluent market could really do well with a sports book. It wasn't quite close enough to Atlantic City to make that so convenient, and so they could just kind of clean up there. So he figured, why not? There's issues or accusations of political insiders, benefiting from this, and who owns the property and all that. But so the owner of the strip mall that is now there that replaced the racetrack clearly can apply for and obtain a gaming license or a sports book license from state regulators. That's not in question. But can they open it? And that's the problem. The previous operators, basically Greenwood Racing, which owns Parks Casino in near Philadelphia and a couple other spots in eastern Pennsylvania, they have a covenant on it that says that no gambling basically can occur on the site unless they get to operate it. So the lawsuit was whether the current operators, the old covenant didn't specifically mention sports betting, and it's kind of too broad and vague, and it should be ignored. And what just happened is the judge, decided that, wait a minute, whatever it may be, it's pretty clear that this is restricted. So now the winning side currently is Greenwood Racing, it looks like, because the judge said it's very likely they will prevail on the merits. So the bottom line is, really, there's a negotiation here to be had, right? Either the current operators say, listen, we'll get the license and you can operate the sports book and you give us X amount of dollars, or they can say, we'll give you X amount of dollars to go away, and then you give up the restriction. So this has always been a negotiation, and I think both sides really thought they had the upper hand, and now it turns out that Greenwood does.
So where is this going from here? Do you see, as you said, they operate parks. I don't know, from a business standpoint, they would want something that relatively close to them in a different state. So what's the possibility of a sports book coming to Cherry Hill?
Yeah, I'm kind of skeptical. The current mall operators are complaining that, here's some Eastern Pennsylvania company that is going to prevent New Jersey from getting tax revenues, that they want, and that's not right. But it's business, it's not personal. Yeah. And so I'm skeptical they ever open a sports book there.
When it comes to gambling, one state that fascinates me beyond any other state is New York. Whether it's sports betting or casinos, it's always interesting to see what's going on there. And one of the more interesting properties is the Resorts World Catskills. And there has been some rumblings that they're in trouble and a bankruptcy filing could be in the near future. What's the latest coming out of that property in the Catskills?
Just in the past week, they finally launched their sports betting operations on actually that Thursday night Packers-Bears game. That day, ex-Nick Larry Johnson showed up, took a money line on the Packers, and he won. Nice call. And John Starks, his former teammate, and ex-Jet Santana Moss were there. They gave the point to the Bears, so they lost. But so that's another upstate New York casino to launch its sports betting parlor. It helps, but the numbers for Resorts World Catskills are brutal. I mean, this is just a Band-Aid, unfortunately. So now keep in mind that this Catskills resort is the closest one to New York City that can have sports betting, right? 100 miles away or so. So there's no sports betting at Yonkers Raceway, not an Aqueduct. They have no mobile, not at Saratoga, by the way. So it's kind of an odd scenario, right? I live on the west side of Manhattan, let's say. I like sports. I only want to bet legally. So I can rent a car for a 200-mile round trip to Resorts World Catskills. I could take a nice walk or bike ride halfway across George Washington Bridge, or maybe an Uber through the Lincoln Tunnel, and then make my bets legally by mobile in New Jersey, make a quick turnaround. I don't know, maybe get a nice nap in before the 1 p.m. kickoffs. You have to be incredibly brand loyal to New York State over New Jersey to kind of do that. So, Governor Cuomo, he just doesn't like the idea of people betting on their smartphones. And I get that. In a perfect world, maybe that's too easy and it's dangerous for a compulsive gambler. But they're doing it illegally anyway. So, and then, of course, they can go across the border to New Jersey and do it.
Sure.
There are New Yorkers who live near the Pennsylvania border. They can do the same thing. So I don't quite understand why he's going this way when there's tax revenue to be had. He can have his own regulation. He can do all kinds of things to protect the consumer in New York State. I mean, he doesn't just have to let it happen and that's the end of it. He can do things in a proactive way, but I don't see any sign he's going to do it. There's going to be no legal mobile sports betting in New York this football season, and I'm not so sure it's going to happen in 2020 or 2021 for that matter.
I think you hit the nail on the head. That's what I was thinking when looking at the Catskills. I mean, they failed to create legislation for online gambling, whether it be online casinos, online poker, or online sports betting. And wouldn't this be the kind of situation that would prompt legislators to help out with this industry in the state? I mean, if they're not going to help out Resorts World Catskills, what will motivate them to allow online sports betting?
Well, the state Senate overwhelmingly passed a bill in June to approve the mobile, and the Assembly had the votes, but Governor Cuomo basically directed the Assembly Speaker, don't even put it up for a vote, because he didn't want to be stuck with having to veto it. He just wanted to never come to his desk. Mm-hmm. So that's a kind of a pure political issue. So the lawmakers in New York State are now convinced that they should offer it. But Governor Cuomo, kind of has an iron fist, and until somebody can get in his ear, nothing's going to change.
When I think of the Catskills, I think of a great vacation spot when it'd be packed in the summertime, and they seem to be situated in a good location. What seems to be the main hurdle for that property?
Well, this whole episode kind of shows you, you're exactly right. So their peak season is June, July, August, right? So they got a good amount of crowd there, but they couldn't bet legally in sports, for those 3 months. And if they were more efficient, they could have. So, not that people are going to build their vacation around it, but they're going to stay at the casino for a couple of nights and play a little blackjack or poker or slots or whatever. And then, there's a sports book here. Oh, wow, the Mets game's playing tonight. The Grom is pitching. I like that. I'll put $20 on that. I mean, it's just free incremental money really for the casino, and they didn't get around to it quickly enough. I think there's just not quite enough to do around there. And more so than anything, though, and this is true of Revel Casino, as you know, in Atlantic City and some other properties, it's the cost of building it. It was $1 billion property. It's too lavish for the region. So while it's very nice, and a lot of people, not everybody, but some people like Revel. They like the nightclubs, they like the restaurants. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is the bottom line. So here's the debt service monthly, right? And here's our revenue. Oh, we missed it the first month. We missed it the second month. They lose money every single month, and I don't see how they're ever going to even break even there. So there's a Malaysian billionaire behind it. So in theory, he could just carry the loss, but I have concerns about that property's fate.
John, we're running out of time, but we want to remind everyone that you can read John Brennan's work on usbets.com, ngonlinegambling.com, and you can listen to John with Eric Raskin on the podcast Gamble On, which is excellent, and I highly recommend it. John, can you give out your Twitter address so people can follow you and keep up to date on what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. It's at Bergen Brennan, so Bergen, Brennan, Brennan, and be happy to the follows. Thanks, guys.
John Brennan from NJOnlineGambling.com, USBets.com, and the podcast Gamble On. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
A real abandoned prison in Philadelphia becomes the #1 haunted attraction in America. Terror Behind the Walls at Eastern State Penitentiary, presented by Lukoil. Are you brave enough to opt in for a more intense experience? You could be grabbed, sent into hidden passageways, and even separated from your group. This is terror like you've never felt. Save $10 with coupons from any Lukoil location. TerrorBehindTheWalls.com.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports, and the Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book, available anywhere in New Jersey. BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $250 and $20 bonus at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we got basically a little bit of an abbreviated sports book today to accommodate John's interview, which was, by the way, great. Always great information.
He is the best. He always gives out great information.
Yeah. Three states reported some sports betting numbers. We'll start with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania reported a $109 million handle for the month of August and a revenue of $9.88 million.
Wow, pretty good.
Yeah,
very
good.
I got to ask you anything about the mobile numbers. I know they went mobile.
90%.
90%. I thought it was crazy that New Jersey was doing 82%.
Nope.
People, revenue coming in from mobile, but 90%. Huh?
Well, coming up, I got a little number that surprised everybody, too, regarding mobiles betting, too.
Oh, okay.
But, again, 90% was online. FanDuel Sportsbook at Valley Forge Casino Resort led the brick-and-mortar with $37.8 million in handle and with $3.118 million revenue. So FanDuel is leading the way in Pennsylvania, and as I'm going to say right now, FanDuel is also leading the way in New Jersey.
Well, they took it over from DraftKings, and they haven't looked back.
Well, here the way it's being reported now, New Jersey sports betting for August 2019, you have almost a $300 million handle, $293.6 million handle, $25 million in revenue. That's amazing numbers for what technically is a dead month.
Yeah, August, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sure not a lot of people are betting on preseason football, but I'm very curious to see I'm always curious to see the numbers in September, because that seems like, baseball is heating up now and football starting, so it's always interesting.
Is it really a dead month now, because there's so much else going on? I mean, the sportsbooks handle, especially the online stuff. You can bet on the what was that? The basketball tournament that was going on.
Well, tennis was a big month.
Tennis was
a big one. And let me tell you something. Every time I see, the sports books, soccer's always a big sport to bet on. So I guess that gets a lot of customers.
And you had tennis, you had basketball, you had soccer, all that stuff.
Well, you didn't have basketball in August.
Yes, you did. You did the FIBA.
Oh, okay.
The World Cup of basketball, or whatever that was.
I didn't even come close to betting on that. I wasn't even
US
thinking of it.
got bounced pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Too,
hey, good for France.
Yeah. But So I don't know if it's a dead month anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Technically, I guess it is.
Sometimes it's less active than other months.
Yeah.
October should be crazy. They got basketball and NHL starting up.
Yeah.
So you got all the sports going in October. So that should be interesting.
Well, Pennsylvania had 90% of their sports betting online. New Jersey continues to have 85%.
Wow.
It's almost a steady 85% of the betting happening online. And the leaders... Actually, I was surprised at the second place guys.
Who's this for?
This is for Jersey.
Jersey?
Meadowlands is in first place, both brick and mortar and online, retail and online, because they have not only FanDuel retail, they also have the FanDuel app is under their license, and PointsBet. So that Meadowlands is leading the way. Then you have resorts.
I like resorts. I always joke around, but that's the closest to the Atlantic City Boardwalk that a sports book could get.
Yep.
I guess Bally's is getting a little close there, but
you got to realize they have not only the DraftKings retail book, but they have DraftKings.
Yep.
BetStars in Jersey, which is it now? That's now Fox Bet. Mm-hmm. But in August it was BetStars, and then ResortsCasino.com.
Well, last time I was in resorts, they were actually playing. What was it? Fox Lock It In.
Lock It In.
Yeah. I saw Lock It In there. So
that's interesting watching a Fox Bet branded show in a place where the Fox Bet license is housed.
Sure.
So, and last but not least, we had a new state join the mix, Iowa.
Yeah, no, I did an interview with
Brian Orlico.
Okay, yeah, no, he was
the Iowa Racing and Gaming Commission.
Yeah, very interesting. It looks like it's going to do great, and from initial numbers, I guess it is doing great.
Eight sports books have operated since the first day of their launch on August 15th, so it's only half a month.
Sure.
So keep this in mind. There are now 13 casinos that are offering sports betting in that state. They generated $8.576 million in handle in 2 weeks, basically.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's great.
$2.162 million in revenue. And here's the number I hinted at before. Only 42% mobile.
Interesting.
And Brian actually...
Well, they have so many casinos, and it's all located around the state in New Jersey. Like I said, the sports books are either at the very top of Jersey or the very bottom of New Jersey, and you have that whole center where we live, and you really have to drive an hour to get to a sports book instead of using your phone.
Brian offered an interesting reason.
Okay.
He thinks it's going to change
right.
To go back to sort of what Jersey and Pennsylvania are doing. But right now, Brian had postulated, how's that for a good word, that since the Iowa law right now requires people to go in to the casinos and the sports books and sign up for the mobile apps in person.
Okay.
Most of the bets were just placed there at the books anyway.
Yeah, I guess you were there.
You signed up, you're there, you might as well do it. And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I get it. But you know what? For me, going there and placing a bet, if you're there, you're signing up. It's if you win. You got to go back and collect your money.
Well, I think that people hang around there just so they can collect their money if they win.
Yeah, I guess that
generates the food, people eating in the restaurant.
It gets traffic into the casinos. I get it, and I think they even said their slots were up.
Yep,
their table games were up. So
everything was up.
Yeah,
everything was up because of sports betting. Sports betting affects everything for a casino.
Oh, absolutely. But like I said, even if I'm in a physical sports book, I still bet on my phone because. If I win, it's automatically put into my phone. I don't have to go back up there or go return at a later date.
Exactly. All right, that's the abbreviated Turnpike Sports book report for this week.
And the Turnpike Sports book report was brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book. Available anywhere in New Jersey. BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $250 and $20 bonus at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Stick around because coming up is our picks. I think I went 1-2.
I ended up doing 2-1. I ended up doing 2-1.
2-1.
So
okay.
I evened out because I went 0-1.
I went
1-2.
I went 2-1 week 1. Then I went 1-2. I guess we're tied.
I reversed my trend. Yes.
Yeah.
I went 1-2, then 2-1.
By the way, the one game I picked during last week that I didn't say for the picks of last week's show was I went with Denver, and I just squeaked out a win by half a point.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing the win probabilities being talked about too now.
Yep. Well, we'll talk about it when we get back right after this. We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. No. 5-1. No. 10-1. You're on.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports, and this portion of Turnpike Sports is brought to you by PointsBet.com. PointsBet has one of the best sign-up offers in New Jersey. Go to PointsBet.com and sign up using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and when you deposit $50, you'll receive a $100 bonus. That's deposit $50, and you bet with $150. So sign up today at PointsBet.com using our promo code PIKE and start having some real fun. That's promo code PIKE. PointsBet. Stay sharp. Must be 21 years or older, and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's our pick segment, and I hope I do better this week. I think I was 1-2 last week.
Well, again, the first week I kind of threw up because you don't know what to expect anyway. And
I did good my first week.
Well, okay, you can keep it. I did terrible.
And by the way, I'm never betting on the Jets ever again.
No one should right now. You can bet against them. And, I think I just saw the point spread opened up for the Jets at 22.
Yeah, some places have 22, some places have 22.5. So I'm staying away from that game.
Unless you want to actually throw some money on the Patriots to see if they actually do that spread. They've been blowing everybody out the first 2 weeks here.
I don't know. That's too big of a spread for me.
But right now we're going to do our picks. As always, we'll do 3 games, and we'll put them up on the Turnpike Sports blog. Go head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com and click on the blog button, and they'll be posted soon after the show is released. And feel free to comment on them, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. You can comment to us on the Facebook and Twitter, at Turnpike Sports for both of those, or even leave your comments on the blog. So without further ado, you want to do the first one?
Just to remind everyone that we don't talk to each other while before we make these picks, so sometimes we have the same picks and sometimes we have different picks, so who knows. But my first game is the Atlanta Falcons versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are favored by 2, and the over-under is 47.5. Look, I certainly the Falcons beat a nicked-up Philadelphia Eagles team, but they were very close to losing it. So I think they were about an inch away from the Eagles getting a first down. So, nothing to brag about there. Sure, they came out with a win is a win. It's great. Matt Ryan, although he threw for over 300 yards, he had 3 interceptions. And look, this is Indianapolis's home opener, so they're going to be pumped up. And get this stat. I love this stat. The Colts have beaten the Falcons 4 of the last 5 games they played against each other. So you know what? I am taking the Colts and laying the points.
Okay, that's a good one. I would do that too, especially since it's their home opener.
Yep.
My first game is the Carolina Panthers, favored by 2 at the Arizona Cardinals with an over-under of 46.5. There are reports out of Carolina that Cam Newton's not 100%. And it kind of showed that Thursday night game against Tampa Bay.
That was terrible.
He didn't look good.
Terrible game.
It wasn't a good game for him. And on the flip side, Arizona's been playing surprisingly well. They're not winning under Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, but
they look good. They look a lot better than I thought they would.
Yeah, exactly. And, they're 0-1-1 going into this, and they seem to be on the edge of getting it all together. And I think the coming in against this subpar Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers might be the place they do it. So I'm going with the Cardinals. In an upset.
We rarely talk about fantasy, but I think Kyler Murray would be a great fantasy pickup because he'll be cheap, and he's putting up stats like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, both throwing and running.
Absolutely. My next game is the New York Giants versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are favored by 6.5, and the over-under is 48. Giants just benched Eli Manning. So, you know what? I'm expecting these numbers to possibly change, but I have to go with the numbers that are in front of me right now. Regardless of what they are, both offenses are just plain bad. Jameis Winston is not very accurate, and the Giants are starting their rookie quarterback. This game screams under. So I'm going for the under 48 in this game.
Well, I went with that game as well, but I actually thought a little differently. I think with the addition of Daniel Jones as the new quarterback might prove a spark. There's really no one to throw to on that offense except Saquon Barkley, and I think that's the key. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to be able to stop Saquon Barkley. The Giants may not win the game, but they'll at least keep it close, and I went with the Giants with the 6.5.
Okay. Now my next one, okay. The New Orleans Saints versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored by 4.5, and they have an over-under of 44.5. Drew Brees is out, one of the many quarterbacks that are out for an extended period of time, and Bridgewater is in, and the Saints did not look very efficient or very effective with him as quarterback. Look, that might change because he's going to get a week of snaps with the first team. He's going to get the majority of snaps in practice, so maybe, that'll help, but I don't think it'll make a difference this week. Seattle has one of the best home field advantages in the league, which will make things very uncomfortable for the Saints, and the Saints secondary didn't look that great, so I'm taking the Seahawks and laying the points.
I went with this game as well for my third game. Teddy Bridgewater, you're right. He's a good quarterback. He might even be an above-average backup quarterback in the league here. He's starter quality. I just think both the offense is going to suffer without Breeze, even if they bring in that kid Hill on certain occasions as another quarterback or the Wildcat or whatever. I just think with that Seattle defense, Seattle might be comfortable enough to let their defense run the show this week. And I went with the under 44.5.
Okay. So to update our picks, I'm going with the Colts and laying the points. I'm going with the under in the New York Giants Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, and I'm taking the Seahawks in laying the points.
I did the under in the Seahawks Saints game of 44.5. I picked the Giants plus 6.5, and I also picked the Cardinals plus 2.5. I went with the underdogs today.
Sounds good. Well, Hope you have a great weekend of football. See you next time on the Turnpike.